All right, Dirty Sports episode 677. Live in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Praino.
Hello, Andy.
What's up, bud?
Happy Monday, buddy.
Happy Monday, November 16th, 2020. We are 10 days away from my 39th birthday. Yes, I'm doing it. I'm plugging it right now.
Crazy.
I know. It is crazy.
And your birthday is Thanksgiving Day, correct?
It is Thanksgiving Day this year, so
that's fun. You get like birthday pie.
I get socially distanced, can't get the whole family together birthday on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of us, and I just personally, I seriously don't think it's good for us to all meet.
Right. I mean, depending on the weather, you just do Walt's backyard, an old style original Thanksgiving. Put a table in the middle of a lawn.
No, it won't be that warm.
Won't be that warm.
No.
But it's been warm there, hasn't it?
I mean, it's off and on. It's like low 50s today.
Got it.
You know what I've learned is not having access to heat for all these years, I don't really use it.
Yeah. I've never used heat. Even when I was in New York in the coldest times. I mean, granted, when I was younger, living in New York, I was poor. So it was like cut costs where you can. But to me, being cold is so much easier to deal with than being hot.
Agree.
Because I'll walk around the house in slippers and a sweater, and then I never even think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of person that's like, let's jack the heat up to 70 and be in a t-shirt. I'm like, I'd rather be cold and then bundle up even inside.
That's what I've noticed. So the room I sleep in is above where the furnace is in the basement in the laundry room. So it gets really hot. So I've learned if I put the heat on at night, because at the night it'll drop to mid 30s. Yeah. But I wake up too hot. So I just turn the heat off when I sleep. You bundle in your covers.
Oh yeah. That's a Lou Praino move for he'd jack the heat and have it go off at like 10:30. And then you wake up in the middle of the night like, oh yeah, it's cold.
Well, yeah, I woke up the other day and I looked, the thermostat was at 59, and my brothers were roasting me, and I go, but guys, I slept great.
Yeah.
So I wake up and I put the heat back on in the morning.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. Plus, saves a few bucks.
Walt doesn't have a timer system?
No, he's got an old system in here. But he was always cold. Always. Yeah. He was so cheap with the AC, but he would crank the heat, which I couldn't stand. So yeah, it's all a big adjustment. But the big announcement I want to make here, as you know, the video game has arrived. It's been put together, and
it's a tabletop. It's a tabletop. A tabletop Pac-Man, Galaga. What else is in there?
It's Miss Pac-Man,
Miss
Galaga.
Pac-Man.
There's 4 different versions of
the original transgender, by the way, Miss Pac-Man.
That's my joke. Did you steal my joke?
I don't know. Did I?
I've been saying that all weekend, and then I think I tweeted that out at some point. But that's all right. It's an easy joke. Yeah, you're right. The original transgender, Miss Pac-Man.
Well, she's really, and the thing is if she was Mrs. Pac-Man, then it would be like, oh, she's not transgender, she's Pac-Man's wife.
Yeah.
But she's Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah. Ahead of their times in 1983.
Hold on 1 second. Just drop it by the door, babe. I got McDonald's food delivery. Not that I'm going to eat it on the show.
Well, amazing. I see you're eating healthy during these times of.
It's one of those ones where you're like, I'm eating fairly healthy, but one of those ones where you're like, I just can't do it.
Yeah, I feel you. So it has 4 versions of Pac-Man, which I've never even seen these, like Pac-Land, Pac-Mania, Super Pac-Man,
Super Pac-Man is when a bunch of Hollywood liberals all get their money together and pool it for your for Pac-Man's political campaign.
Exactly. There's Galaga and there's Galaxian, which is like the harder version of Galaga, which is way harder. And then there's 2 versions of Dig Dug, which
it's harder because it's just harder to pronounce. Galaxium?
Yeah. But
ask your doctor if Galaxium is right for you.
Yeah. So, I'm very content with this purchase. Picked it up at Best Buy and put it together with my brother, and he did most of the work, I'm sure you can imagine. I'm not exactly handy. And here we are. Welcome to the winter.
I love it. And where is it? In the basement?
It's in the basement.
Nice.
So if anybody's interested, you just go to Best Buy. They're selling for like $450.
Yeah.
And then I got 2 years coverage for $100.
It seems to me like for, if you're a young parent out there, or I mean, not even necessarily young, but like if you have young kids, like a tabletop Pac-Man game, because we've all seen them at restaurants. Like back in the day, that was like the big thing. They'd kind of like stuff them in the corner of like a bar or a restaurant. Like, it's not like you have a big stand-up video game in your basement. You basically have you have a little cocktail table.
That's what's crazy. Yeah.
And the kids, you put the kids on that instead of Call of Duty. Maybe instead of your kid turning into a school shooter, he's just a kid that's going around eating Molly.
Well, Praino, that's actually a great push for the game. You're right. It's small, and when we were putting together, like, this is going to be too small. But then when you sit down, it's the same chair I'm sitting in right now is what we were sitting in to play.
Oh, so yeah.
It's the perfect size. And you're right. Like, my brother was like, $500. I'm like, dude, you think that's a lot, but I said, what kind of use is this going to get?
Yeah.
Just like a TV. So here I am.
Does it have a quarters like option?
No.
It's just a system.
It's just the system.
You couldn't buy that and drop it in there's probably a whole other set of rules with that too. Like, there's probably a video game commission.
Yeah.
In terms of what games you can and can't charge for.
And that was the Dirty Sports, EA, what's it called?
Yeah.
EA Sports. EA Sports portion of the show.
It's Andy Ruther. AR Sports. It's in the basement.
Well, we had an exciting Sunday of football, Joe.
Oh, I mean, we sure did. It's, we missed the obvious thing we talked about on Thursday. You were like, the NFL has heard my prayers. Afternoon games totally slipped our mind. They were scheduling around the Masters coverage. So CBS had the Masters all morning, right. Which we can go into later if you want, or we could quickly breeze through it, which is I had the two TVs going. The morning games, there was, I think, only five early games, generally pretty bad matchups. Obviously I was heavy on my Giants-Eagles game, but basically I had football on one TV, the Masters on the other. But even before the Masters was over, I moved that to Tampa Bay, Carolina, because Dustin Johnson basically runs away with the Masters. I mean, we could talk to Tug, or we could get, a golf fan's opinion on Twitter or something like that, but not a very exciting Masters. It seemed like he just kind of got out front like a pace car, and there was never really a moment where he was going to slip. So I'm not really like a huge Dustin Johnson fan, although, he's doing a lot of good things, from getting like suspended for coke and banging Paulina Gretzky and all this stuff, but not particularly interesting guy to me. I wasn't like go. And so like, I really didn't watch much of it. So then you have these games that are, scheduled around it, a pretty low quality morning session, pretty low quality Masters ending. Besides Giants Eagles, it was a pretty slow go to start the day. And then we move into the afternoon and the evening game.
So what are the Giants now? Are they one game out?
The Giants are technically
game and a half,
like a half game out, right? Because they have the same amount of wins as they're tied for the most wins in the NFC East, but they have played one less game than the Eagles, and they have one more loss because the Eagles have a tie. So correct me if I'm wrong out there, but I believe the Giants are 3-7. The Eagles are 3-5-1. So technically they're just like they're just that tie behind, but they also have split with the Eagles, So for the Giants, I looked at it as far as like the Giants kind of playoff hopes go.
So the Giants have played one more game than the Eagles, actually.
Correct. Yeah. Sorry, did I mess that up?
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, so they've played one more game, but they go on a bye this coming week. And so the Eagles have that essentially half game tie bump, and they've got a potential win. They could win this week, and then they would be a game and a half up or whatever. But the Eagles have a really tough schedule down the stretch. Now, the way the NFC East has been, you kind of got like I look at it and I pencil in like the standard losses. Like you kind of got to assume the Eagles are going to lose to like the Seahawks and the Eagles. But at this point, the whole league's getting kind of wonky. I hate to say it, but I still think the Eagles might have the best shot to win, just because having a half game tie lead on this when no one's winning games is a lot to overcome. But I also look at their two schedules and I say, the Giants do have an outside shot because the Eagles have a pretty tough schedule down the stretch. Dallas, I'm kind of assuming, is out of it unless like they can sort out a quarterback situation, which it doesn't seem like they can. And Washington is a win behind, and the Giants have beaten them twice. So to me, I think it comes down to the Giants and the Eagles. And really, can the Eagles beat somebody they shouldn't, quote unquote, I guess?
Well, to me, it comes down to, God, I hate that division, and I hate watching that division. And
I mean, trust me, Andy, I understand. Like, I don't care if it's the Giants. They shouldn't have a home playoff game.
Yeah.
And it's although, look, the Giants looked really good yesterday. Again, Carson Wentz looked really bad again. Doug Peterson with one of the most horrific 2-point conversion calls I've ever seen. I don't know how much you were paying attention to that particular game, but at one point they're down 4 and he goes for 2. Which, if you watch the game, and I know deep in somebody's like, the win percentage is actually raised by 2.5% if they get it, whereas the loss percentage is you only lose about 1%. So technically, analytically, it helps you. Well, I'll tell you what, we've been talking about it in this game. The Eagles pull within essentially a field goal, and they can kick an extra point to pull within a field goal, which if you're a Giants fan, if you're a Giants player, if you're anybody that's been involved in the Giants-Eagles rivalry, which the Giants hadn't won yesterday for 4 full seasons before yesterday, you get sort of scared when the Eagles pull within a score. Then the Eagles go for 2, don't get it. Giants get some sort of like fake momentum. They march down the field and score a touchdown. And that's all she wrote. Essentially, they never look back. It never gets closer than that. And I just can't, like, Doug Peterson is reckless, honestly stupid, and these guys just don't understand momentum at this point. And it couldn't have helped the Giants more. And I hate to say it because the NFC East stinks, and who knows what's going to happen. But like that 2-point conversion fail momentum swing could decide the NFC East.
Well, there's a lot of great races right now. I can't remember at this juncture of the season where you had this many tight races. The AFC East is totally up for air now, or up in the air now, I should say. Bills with that just heartbreaking loss on the Hail Mary play. They're 7-3. Dolphins have won 5 in a row, 3 in a row with Tua. I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
I didn't like that switch. It's working out. I was wrong.
I mean, I think the one thing that we can say about that switch is, neither of us have really been a big fan of Tua coming in and like carving up the NFL. And he's played great, and he's certainly like kind of game managed. And I'm sure that they're not throwing a ton at him fresh out of the gate. But I guess the only thing that you could kind of say in retrospect is maybe the Dolphins liked the idea of a guy who's less erratic than Fitzpatrick. Obviously, you have just like a bigger swing in potential greatness from Ryan Fitzpatrick, potential, turnovers, etc. And I got to say, I'm surprised that the Dolphins thought they were this team, but they have proven they are, which is we'd rather not turn the ball over than have a guy who's able to do like a little bit less.
Well, that when your defense is playing well like they are.
Right. But I just didn't think the Dolphins were there yet, especially in the AFC East, especially with how the Bills were playing, how, the Patriots at the time when they went to the move weren't exactly out of it. And the Patriots, dare I say, are not out of it again.
They're not. I mean, look, the Patriots are crazy. You could 2-5. Now they've won 2 games in 6 days.
And if you look at the Patriots, I mean, the end of the Seahawks game and that fumble in the Bills game, they're a couple plays away from this being a totally different season for them. And I know that, we could say that the Giants are a couple different plays away from being fucking 9-0, but or 8-7-2, whatever it is. I mean, that you are your record, as you love to remind us from Bill Parcells. But when you're looking at teams, when you can kind of pinpoint just a couple plays, like not like you got your ass kicked, a couple plays, I think that's where a guy like Bill Belichick has the ability to say, hey, we're not done here. A play here, a bounce there, a fumble there. We're like leading this division. Let's just keep it between the lines, keep pushing.
I mean, look, the Patriots, exactly. The Patriots are the Patriots as far as like they're going to be in most games. And like last night, come fourth quarter, they showed that stat. Cam Newton, halfway through the fourth quarter, had 95 passing yards.
Yeah. I mean, they were playing in a monsoon, to be fair.
No, for sure. But my point is they're up 10 points. Like,
yeah.
The point is they're playing with their defense. They're scoring when they have to score. Grind it out, hand the ball off. Classic Patriots. We're going to adapt to the weather. We're going to adapt to the team we're playing. It's what they've done for 20 years as far as game planning. And I agree. Dude, they're 4-5. Like,
yeah.
You think the Dolphins are the Dolphins or Bills? They want no part of the Patriots right now.
Right. And the way both of those teams are playing, anybody can beat anybody at this point. So it's like the idea of somebody going, 13-3 or 12-4, not highly likely at this point.
Yeah. No, I think the winner of that division is going to finish 10-6, 11-5. But look, on the other side of things, Baltimore, I think they're done. They're now 3 games behind Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Unless
Pittsburgh has a meltdown.
Well, they're done in terms of winning the division.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
And now they're in a race with the Browns.
Yeah. Who they've already beaten.
But I got to say, Baltimore just doesn't look good at this point. Just doesn't look good on either side of the ball.
Really? Their defense is good.
Honestly, their defense is fine, but like they have a couple playmakers on defense, but like they're not the defense that they've been in recent history even. And I think when you look at this Cleveland or this Baltimore team, I think that they're become a character of themselves even over the last couple of years, which is they're not going to beat good teams. They're just going to be like before it was like, we're not going to be great teams. We're not going to be playoff teams. Last year, obviously they go 13-3. They beat a lot of teams. They just seem to me like when stacked up against a good team, the idea that they're like favored in a game with any, like who's better, Baltimore or Cleveland?
Baltimore.
You just can say that like no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I can't say that no doubt about it.
I'm banking on history right there.
Okay, but you're just banking on not trusting Cleveland.
Yeah.
But from a talent standpoint, from what they've shown so far, I'm not sure they are better than Cleveland.
I mean, I guess that could be up for debate.
And we'll find out. I mean, they'll play again. Yeah,
talent-wise, but again, until the Browns make the playoffs, I'm not gonna bet on them. I mean, I have a lot of questions about Lamar. Obviously, last night, I kind of throw last night out because,
Sure.
like you said, I mean, it was a monsoon. Like, I don't put that game on any quarterback. Last night was just, I can't remember a game being like that in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, there was like tornado warnings on the East Coast.
We had insane wind here too. Like, I've never seen it here. And it was the same way. And I was so happy because what it was doing was it was taking the front yard's tree full of leaves and just blowing them right into my neighbors. And I'm like, yeah, dude, deal with that because not my problem anymore. It's the best part of however the wind goes with the leaves, right? If it goes to the neighbor's yard, ain't my problem anymore.
Possession is what? 6/10 of the law? 5? What is it? Like,
just picture me.
I don't know the saying, but
just picture me eating like a breakfast
9/10.
sandwich. Me eating a breakfast sandwich in the morning, just watching the wind blow the leaves into the neighbor's yard and being like, you cocksucker.
Just standing in the driveway.
Yeah.
Green tea, like Walt, watching the leaves move.
Yeah. Like, deal with that, bro. Ain't my problem anymore. But other races, they're all up. Thursday night. Let's go back to Thursday night, Joe.
Yep.
None of us saw this coming. Colts pretty easily beat the Titans, and now they're in the lead of that division.
Yeah. I get, it's funny because I said in the preview that I didn't know what people were seeing and flipping that line. And obviously people saw it differently than I saw it. The Colts, I hate to say it, but like the Colts are good, but I still don't trust the Colts.
Okay, let me ask you this. And they just played. Who do you trust more, the Ravens or the Colts? I'd say Ravens.
I guess to do what?
To go farther in the playoffs.
I guess I kind of got to trust the Colts just on defense alone. Okay. I think the Colts defense is better. But what I was going to say is I wonder who Vegas has had higher odds to win the Super Bowl, the Colts or the Titans, who they literally just beat.
Yeah, I'll look it up real quick. That game just got away from Tennessee.
Yeah. I think the thing with Tennessee, and it's a blessing and a curse. Obviously, when Derrick Henry's going, they can just like put teams away. They can run them into the ground, but they're certainly not a throw yourself back into the game team.
I think these Super Bowl odds are going to shock you. Current odds to win the Super Bowl.
Chiefs are the favorite.
Yeah, so we'll just go through it real quick. Chiefs are 7-2, Steelers are 11-2, Saints 13-2, Packers 9-1, Bucks 9-1, Ravens 10-1, Seahawks 16-1, Rams 18-1, Cards 22-1, Bills are also 22-1. The Colts are ahead of Tennessee. Colts are 25-1, and the Titans are 30-1.
Wow.
Sneaky pick. Here's one for you, Joe. The Raiders 50-1.
Wow. Kind of love it.
Right?
I don't think the Raiders win the Super Bowl. It's kind of a zero-sum bet, but like
I don't either.
But also the Titans at 30-1. I mean, for a team that played in the AFC Championship game last year.
Yeah. No, so look, I don't know. I mean, the NFC, you're going to have some really interesting battles, especially in the West. I mean, right now you have the Cards, Rams, and Seahawks.
I mean, in a matter of an hour, the NFC West standings move multiple times. I mean, you go from, I think it was Seahawks, Cards, Rams to, obviously before the game ended, it was Rams, Seahawks, Cards, then Cards jump everybody again. And now it's Cards, Rams, Seahawks. I mean, the Seahawks go from first to third in their own division in an afternoon. And I'm going to say it. I think Russ gets jumped by somebody in his own division in the MVP race.
I saw your tweet. We got to address this.
Well, I'm talking about Kyler Murray.
Oh, I know, but we got to address the tweet about my boy Russ. I mean, that's a straight up troller moron, correct?
What, the Daniel Jones tweet?
I mean, you just love throwing shade at my boy Russ.
I mean, the Daniel Jones tweet, it had a guy trying not to laugh. I mean, that was pretty tongue in cheek, that one.
Yeah, he's on a bad streak. He's had some really bad games.
He's had 3 turnovers in 3 of his last 4 games.
Yeah, so he's on one of his worst streaks in his entire career. Yeah, I mean, yesterday was a day where the defense actually held up, and he just didn't play well. And he hasn't played well the last couple of weeks.
And one of those turnovers is a bad snap. It's not his fault. I mean, it's his fault, but it's not. It's certainly not. It's partially his fault, but it's more the fucking center. I mean, snap the goddamn ball.
Well, I received a text from CT yesterday, and he's saying, "Look, man, I should never have sent you that Rush jersey. The Ruther curse.
The Ruther curse."
He's like,
put it on the Google Doc.
He's like, I send you, a Russell Wilson jersey, and
I mean, he's got 15 turnovers since then.
No, well, look, the jersey arrived. This isn't fully true. The jersey, Russ had 2 great games when the jersey was still here. Like, he's fallen apart recently. But look, at the end of the day, if you put over the overall body of work, he's still having a great year. Is he in the MVP contention? Look, he's fallen out for sure. He's got to really bounce back. Now, Kyler Murray and him, if you look at total yards, if you look at total touchdowns, turnovers, look, I don't have any problem at all with putting Kyler Murray in the MVP discussion. And I tweeted this out. His numbers through 8 games, that's before yesterday's game, were way better than last year's MVP winner. Or ESPN put out this stat, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
So I know, you can't just pull one stat or one guy versus another guy, but
well, I mean, last year, and there's so much that goes into it, obviously more than stats and more than, what team you're on and all that. But like last year, the Ravens were just running through people. Last year, Mahomes was hurt. Last year was the first year of Rodgers and LaFleur. You had a great season by the Packers, but a quiet season for Aaron Rodgers. I think it's more of who else is in the race as opposed to like you don't forget Lamar Jackson, like Russ last year, he comes out early in the year. I mean, you remember that Dolphins game? I think it was to start the year last year. They scored like 70 points or some like nonsensical thing.
Yeah.
And he gets out on the MVP front runner thing early, and he never kind of gives it up. Whereas Russ got out on it early, and you can't, no doubt about it. I mean, the last month, Russ had a chokehold on the MVP and is now arguably not in the top 3.
Yeah, and Murray's playing great. And look, he does it every week, and I don't think he gets the respect. Maybe he will now after that game yesterday, the final play. But I don't think he's getting the respect that he should get.
Meanwhile, I tweeted it fucking 6 weeks ago. If you had to start a franchise right now, who are you picking besides Kyler Murray? And I kind of stand by that, which is, again, we all love Mahomes. I think Mahomes is maybe the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. But right now, if you were building a team, Kyler Murray is giving you a lot for not $500 million. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to pay him at some point.
Yeah,
and he might command more than that in the market. Here's a funny one since we're talking about this. Did you see this this stat, this tweet, this thing? The stadium where the Cardinals play, is it what are they? University of Phoenix Stadium?
I think it changed. I think it's State Farm now.
State Farm. Okay. The Rogers rate. That stadium has some wild shit that's gone on there. The Manning to Tyree helmet catch happened there. Your boy Russ on the 1-yard line in the Super Bowl, the immaculate interception, as they say, happened there. The Rodgers Hail Mary to Jameis in 2016 happens there. And then the Hail Murray happens there. 4 just insane, big moments
in a very new stadium.
Yeah.
That's
The first
crazy.
one, Tyree is obviously the first one, but
13 years ago.
yeah,
That's crazy.
it's crazy. And I mean, I hope Bill O'Brien, I hope they had a TV on in the back in the kitchen of the Applebee's that Bill O'Brien works at so that he could see that all go down.
Well, look at both sides. And I don't know if you saw the Adam Schefter tweet. It was great. It's like the Bills trade for Stephon Diggs and the Cards trade for God, why you just said his name?
Hopkins,
DeAndre Hopkins. And look how well these guys are playing.
Yeah.
On both sides. And that is such a heartbreaking loss for the Bills, man.
Yeah. And honestly, I got to say, this is a testament to what I think Hopkins and Murray together, when they got the ball back, like, I didn't think that they had a great shot. You never think somebody has a great shot at a Hail Mary. But when they got the ball back with not a lot of time left, not a lot of timeouts left, I was like, between Murray and Hopkins and just Murray's legs, I was like, this game isn't over. And it turned out, obviously I was right, but like, that's a testament to how well those guys are playing and how well those guys are playing together, which is like, this isn't in the bag.
Well, we got a huge game this week. Arizona and Seattle.
Yeah.
Thursday night.
Love it. I think that helps your boy and your squad up there in Seattle. I think Thursday's helpful for a veteran team with a veteran coach, and
especially when they're at home.
Short team prep, short week prep.
Who do you like to win that division?
It's tough. Now
you know what really favors.
I think I like the Cardinals. I mean, the thing is, it's hard to say I like Seattle.
You know what favors Seattle? Have you looked at their schedule?
Are they just get easier down the stretch?
Oh my God, dude.
I mean, I know they have the Giants and the Eagles, so they've got a little NFC run.
They got at Eagles, Giants, Jets, at Washington after this week.
Oh, okay. So maybe I do like Seattle. It's hard to say you like Seattle when their defense is playing the worst of the three by far.
But I look at it this way: if Seattle wins this week, and I'm not saying they will, I think they take 3 out of 4. I could be wrong. At Eagles versus Giants versus Jets at Washington. I think they take 3 out of 4 of those.
Penciling in a Giants win. I like it.
No, did I pencil in? I said I think they take 3 out of 4 of those.
No, I know. I'm saying you're penciling in the Giants as their one loss, and I like it.
Oh, okay. I mean, after that blasphemous tweet, how dare you?
I mean, I don't know how much more you can do a joke tweet besides laughing black keyboardist guy.
I mean, Praino, I'm just going to say I saw that tweet. I saw it before bed last night. It was not what I wanted to see before.
Triggered? Somebody's triggered?
A little triggered.
Tossing and turning? Hey, it was obviously a joke tweet. And I think that's made obvious, but the GIF. But at the same time, there's multiple things in that tweet. I'll take the MVP portion out of it. You've got a little bit of Russ falling back down to earth, especially in the turnover category. Sure. And Daniel Jones has figured it out. A couple games in a row, Daniel Jones not turning over the ball. Giants are winning games. Daniel Jones is carving up teams when he's not pressured. I mean, he is perfect from a clean pocket yesterday. I'm seeing some nice growth from Daniel Jones. And I think the exciting things for me as a Giants fan, how the Giants defense is playing, and that Saquon Barkley is tweeting every time Wayne Gallman scores. He's happy for his boy. It's good. It's good that the unfollow the Giants, change all his Instagram pictures isn't a sign that he's moving on. I think Saquon will be wanting to return and getting a two-headed monster backfield with Wayne Gallman. And I don't think, even if the Giants manage to win the NFC East, that they have any, obviously, playoff hopes. But I like what the Giants are doing in terms of building toward a future.
Well, to go back to my boy Russ real quick, the two stats that I love about him, through his first 9 years, he's going to have the most wins and also the most wins when his team's down at halftime. since he entered the league. And that's what I like about him. And he's obviously having a bad few weeks. And I saw the stat was he has not had multiple interception games since his second year.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think he's just pressing. And I think
Dan Orlovsky put a tweet out yesterday saying that, some of these decisions are just Russ knowing that his defense is going to give up 30 points.
That's what I mean.
And that they have to score, which I damn near replied, but I was like, I don't even want to get started. But I was like, oh, really? Because I was just told Eli Manning sucks the last 5 years. I didn't know it was pressing when your defense is trash.
What does Eli have to do with it?
Well, that's basically what I've been saying for a long time, which is when you have to make plays, you tend to make more reckless plays. And I think that's absolutely true of a lot of quarterbacks, including Russ. Although, like you said yesterday, the defense held up. They were in that game till the end. He has 3 turnovers. I mean, I think it's a different game if he doesn't.
Sure.
Especially the one that was terrible was the throw across his body when he had 50 yards of open running room.
Yeah, that's a terrible.
You're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, and he owned up to that.
That was a Wentz. That was a Wentz play.
Well,
let's talk about that. Carson Wentz is garbaggio. Carson Wentz is a fucking, large order of garbaggio pasta.
So do you move on from him officially if you're the Eagles?
I mean, I moved on from, I said that they should have moved on from an injury prone Wentz and kept Foles before, just on the momentum factor, just on the Super Bowl factor, just on like the Cinderella, like all that stuff. But the thing for Wentz is, I just don't know how much longer you keep Carson Wentz is when you have Jalen Hurts. And when you're playing like this, it's like you look at it, a Tua Fitz situation. I mean, Fitz was playing great. But again, to me, it's like, what are you asking me? I tweeted this a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't believe this more. This is not Giants fan trolling. This is real. As a Giants fan, nothing makes me happier than knowing that the Eagles believe fully and wholeheartedly in the Wentz-Peterson combo.
Yeah.
Great. Keep them forever. This is Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid all over again. I was like, cool, you guys got your thing going on here, but we don't fear you at all.
Yeah. Well, we had some injuries yesterday. Teddy Bridgewater got injured in the NFC South, but it looks like from all reports that it's nothing serious. And the Bucs obviously waxed Carolina in that game. And then we have the biggest
big one. Yeah.
The Jameis Winston alert is off because he's playing.
Yeah. I sent you a Jameis alert with sirens yesterday. There's a little bit of conspiracy theory on the Breeze thing. Breeze has quote unquote bruised ribs. A lot of people are sort of dissecting the footage like it's the Zapruder film and saying he didn't really land on his ribs. He more landed on his shoulder. Is this a Drew Brees right shoulder injury, which he has had in the past, and he already has trouble throwing the ball downfield? Is this a hidden shoulder injury that they're covering as a rib injury, and it's, potentially more devastating than if he had, say, bruised ribs?
Well, here's what we don't want injuries on anybody.
No.
But I, for one, am rubbing these hands together for the Jameis show. Let's see what you can do, Jameis, with like top 3 offense.
I'm assuming Jameis one of one is just saying Breeze was benched. In terms of as far as the conspiracies go, I don't know. He blocked me a long time ago. I'm assuming they've benched Breeze in favor of a clearly more talented quarterback.
What do you like? Do you want Jameis to start this week? Because I do.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, I think the best thing, and I obviously I predicted the Saints to the Super Bowl this year. I'm not necessarily rooting for that, but I think the reason I'm hoping Jameis starts is like the Saints have won, I believe, 6 in a row, and bring Jameis in, Jameis fails, and then maybe we could be done with Jameis once and for all. And, the XFL or whatever other leagues, like, let's just be done with the Jameis experiment. I do. I wallow in his failure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to see, I do want to see how he does. I really do. And I mean, look, there is potential to completely revive his career like Bridgewater did last year.
Yeah.
But it's all the pressure.
But I guess even the thing is, let's say Jameis plays well. Jameis isn't exceptional. Let's say Jameis plays well. Let's say Jameis does what Teddy Bridgewater did last year. Where does Jameis go? Like, there's not a whole lot of places for Jameis still. And that's the thing, is like, what is Jameis now? Like, look around the league, everybody's pretty locked in. I mean, unless we're talking about like the Cowboys, or unless we're talking about like, a Falcons team who's like, we'll get younger, and I don't know.
And that's a good question. And obviously you can't turn the ball over in the current NFL.
Yeah.
So it does beg the question, where would be a fit? And I mean, if you go through each team, I just don't see one.
I mean, the Jets are locked into Lawrence. I mean, even the bad teams, like, I know Daniel Jones hasn't looked great, but like, does anybody think that Jameis is a better fit for the Giants than Daniel Jones? Like, I don't. At least Jones is getting stuff done with his legs, like scoring, like
Jacksonville.
Okay, that's it. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Minshew mania, man. The Trumpers will hate that. Trumpers go from a headband mustache guy to Jameis. They're gonna be storming the mayor's house, AR-15s and digicamo sleeves.
I mean, that's the only option. He's from Florida.
I guess
bring him back.
Yeah, that's it. That's absolutely it.
He played in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Ship him to Jacksonville, where people go to die.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know anywhere else where he could play. At this point, it's which is crazy, because I think Jameis is 25, 26.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is he plays well, and the Saints stick with him.
That's true.
But well, I guess we'll see if that happens.
Yeah. I'll be real curious.
Is Black slimming, or did Jameis lose like 60 pounds? Doesn't he look smaller?
He got in a lot better shape. You can tell. I mean, he was moving in that pregame
video.
The concentration.
Yeah. Also, just the weird heels only backpedaling.
Classic Jameis. Well, Joe, I'll be watching tonight's game like yourself, Vikings, Bears, Monday Night Football. And while I'm watching, I will be playing the Stakes app. DirtBalls, join me tonight. Talk trash to me. I enjoyed Thursday night. We had a great discussion on the Stakes app Thursday night about the worst uniforms. And Joe, I nominated the Titans up there. Like, all-time bad.
Titans are pretty bad. I don't hate them, but they're pretty bad.
I think they're awful. So I enjoyed the discussion with the Dirtballs on the Stakes app Thursday night. So join me tonight, Monday Night Football, Vikes, Bears. Stakes is a free new app that takes game time to another level. You answer questions during the game, and you can win real cash. It's like HQ Trivia meets sports, meets your group chat. The best part is that it's totally free. Join the Dirty Sports group chat on Stakes, STAKES. So after you download the Stakes app from the App Store, enter code DIRTY, and you're in. Talk trash to me, talk trash to other Dirtballs. Plus, Stakes is offering private group members special game perks that increase your chances to win free cash. Stakes is currently only available for iPhones and iPad. Play for free, no credit card or purchase necessary. That's Stakes, STAKES, in the App Store. And they got these combos questions. I'm going to read a couple of these for tonight's game.
Love it.
Dalvin Cook has gone off his last two games as he's posted over 200 yards from scrimmage in each. How many yards from scrimmage will he have against the Bears tonight? A, 74 or fewer, B, 75 to 140, C, 141 to 199, or D, 200 or more. I am going to say B, 75 to 140.
I'm going to say B as well. Bears defense, to the idea that he's going to go for 200 seems kind of crazy. Seems like the safest bet.
Yeah. Here's another quick question I'll read for tonight's game via the Stakes app Combos play. Will any player besides Nick Foles or Kirk Cousins throw a pass in the game?
We lost on this one last week. I'm going to say yes this time.
I'm going to say yes as well. So DirtBalls, join the Stakes app tonight. Join it any night, actually. Play during the games. Enter code DIRTY for our group chat. Was there anything else from this week's games that you wanted to go over?
I'm trying to think of the games that we didn't touch on. Is any big?
I mean, nothing in particular. It's obviously I like to hit certain games and certain teams.
The end of the Browns Texans game with Nick Chubb going out of bounds at the 1 and some sort of like he does it, like all the running backs that have failed at this, he does it when he doesn't really need to. Like you go up 10 with 50 seconds left, that game's over. He's just screwing bettors and fantasy owners.
Yeah.
But good for Nick Chubb.
There was controversy in Cincinnati that Joe Burrow was playing while the Bengals were down 26 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, look, they're the Cincinnati Bengals, and they have gone with sort of the old school approach to a franchise quarterback. Let's just let the guy play and see what happens. And
look, he sacked 4 times already in that game. I would say that's fine, but like you need the guy in the field. Like,
I agree. I have no problem taking him out when the game gets to that point. I have slightly less problem leaving him in if he wants to stay in, if he's trying to, if there's something to learn there for him, if that's what they think, okay. Obviously he's not going to want to come out of the game. I'm totally fine with taking him out though, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we need to move on to NBA because things are happening as this show is being recorded. Big trade, Joe. Did you see it?
It's official.
Chris Paul.
No, I did not see it. This has happened during the show.
Chris Paul gets traded again.
To who? For what?
The Phoenix Suns.
Wow. I kind of like that.
So we're going to have an old Chris Paul with a young Devin Booker.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I mean,
my first question, hold on. Sorry to cut you off. My first question is, but what about the nut? Will Chris Paul join the train?
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that. I feel like Chris Paul, in real Chris Paul fashion, maybe he floor generals the train. Maybe he's just pointing guys around, calling plays or whatever. More of a coach on the floor than he is. I'll say this. Certainly, I think Chris Paul should move to the head of the line. I mean, he's like 10 years older than every single person on the Suns. Yeah. He should not be behind anybody in their next gangbang.
I agree. Well, here's the details. According to our boy Shams, how's Shams' last name pronounced? I always mess it up.
I don't know.
Sharania?
Yeah.
OKC has traded Chris Paul to Phoenix for Ricky Rubio, Kelly Oubre, Ty Jerome, Jalen. How do you pronounce Jalen? Jalen Lecque? How do you pronounce that?
Sure.
And draft compensation. That's a lot of people.
It is. That's more than I mean, I think the Kelly Oubre is a nice thing. Ricky Rubio is fine. Like Ricky Rubio is sort of I hate to say like the super poorest man's Chris Paul, but it's a similar style for sure.
Yeah.
Of a pass first point guard. I've never hated Ricky Rubio. I didn't live up to the hype, but decent player. I think what Chris Paul brings is for sure, he is very clearly the leader in that locker room now. They played really well in the bubble. They think that they can be competitive. And I like this move for the Suns. I actually kind of like this move for both teams. And I think what this is exceptionally good for is Devin Booker, playing off the ball a little bit more.
Serious question. Who gets passed around more? The girl who was in the gangbang or Chris Paul?
Yeah. We're more guys in the gangbang than Chris Paul has now been on teams.
So Chris Paul has played for the Hornets / Pelicans. That's one team.
Yeah.
Clippers, the Rockets, the Thunder, now the Suns. Am I missing more? Anybody?
I think that's it.
So 5 teams, and I believe there were 7 guys in the gangbang. So Chris Paul has to be
So
traded.
he's on his way.
Yeah.
He's on his way. I'm excited that Chris Paul didn't end up on the Knicks. I am hopeful that doesn't mean they'll make an even more reckless decision. But I like this for both teams. I think a Chris Paul OKC future with a new coach, it was never going to be the long-term fit for him. They get a lot back. I like this. I
mean, Chris Paul's 35.
Yeah.
His State Farm agents, they got a lot of work. I think they're sick of moving. These guys are moving around all the time.
Yeah. He's just going to pick like a central location. He's just going to be like a guy. He's going to be like Bob Costas. He's going to be like, I live in St. Louis because I get to everywhere from here.
Sure. So you seem to like this trade.
I think it's a nice fit for both teams. I think the Suns, I kind of like it more for the Thunder than I do for the Suns, but I know what the Suns are going for. Veteran leadership, a guy to help the progression of Devin Booker, to be the on the ball point guard. And they were certainly competitive in the bubble. So, Kelly Oubre will be missed, but otherwise I think, it's an upgrade.
Now, the big story, obviously, is the Houston, James Harden, and we talked about Russell Westbrook last show. It seems that Harden wants to go pair up with KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn.
So my thoughts on this are multi-layered. One, from a James Harden and Nets perspective, I like it. James Harden, there's no more D'Antoni in Houston. You've got this roster that was set up for a small ball. There's literally no other coach alive who will make that work. So you're set up to fail. Morey's gone. Westbrook wants out, and that's probably worse than if Westbrook wanted in, or probably better than if Westbrook wanted in. I mean, Harden, like, they're seeing that this is a sinking ship, and for him to want to go and pair with Kevin Durant in Brooklyn with a Steve Nash. And by the way, D'Antoni's on the staff there. That's not coincidence. So Harden basically wants to be reunited with his style and with Kevin Durant. I mean, I think everybody's question mark about this is, how the fuck does Kyrie and Harden work together? To which I would say, look, this almost gives you like some flexibility with, like, do we even fucking need or want Kyrie? If I were the Nets, if I was Steve Nash, I would absolutely try to acquire James Harden. And then when we underperform, I would absolutely try to move Kyrie Irving. Because Kevin Durant and James Harden together in a Steve Nash with ghost Mike D'Antoni system, I like it. Kyrie fucks that up. Now, if they can get him to play off the ball and they can get him to be a shooter, they get him whatever, but also, yeah. And if my aunt had a cock, she'd be my uncle. Like, like getting Kyrie to buy, he thinks the world's flat. So.
Okay, let's say, because they're not moving Kyrie. Not now.
Right.
Let's say they get James Harden.
Yeah.
Where are you setting the Brooklyn Nets wins at?
How many games are they going to play next year?
72? Over under 50?
Yeah. I'd probably go right around there. I mean, I think they'll be good. I think that's a talent heavy situation, obviously. And like a lot of teams, they will just be able to beat up on a lot of bad teams. But I don't think that makes them better than, a couple teams in the East still, unless they can find if you just take those guys for what they've been and the talents that they've brought to teams, I just don't know that having Kyrie in the mix, does it make them better than the Celtics, who are drastically improved by Kyrie being out of the mix?
Yeah.
I still I hate the fit. But I hate the fit because of Kyrie. He's already there. So I don't like the Nets situation as much as I like their coaching staff, as much as I like Kevin Durant, who to me is a top 10 all-time NBA player and probably a top 5 NBA player right now if he's healthy, if not top 3, if not top, whatever. I mean, the health of Kevin Durant is obviously a major factor, but I don't like the fit with Kyrie.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it somehow works less if you add better players.
Sure.
So that's sort of my feeling on it. And honestly, I think it gives them, Mike D'Antoni knows and is telling Steve Nash that he knows what they're getting into with Nash or with Harden, with a Harden KD thing. I think Kyrie is a wild card, but also Kyrie's one of those guys who, for some reason, always has value. So, I mean, I don't know. That's where I'm. If I'm in the Nets organization, that's where I am. We absolutely try to get James Harden, and then we see where we're at. We see how we all play. We see how we all fit. We see how we can get Kyrie to buy in. And if that doesn't work, you take pennies on the dollar for Kyrie and fill out the situation around 2 MVPs as opposed to one guy who once played with LeBron James and dribbles really well.
Well, the Lakers are also trying to get a guard. It looks like they're going to trade for Dennis Schroeder.
I like this. I think this is a fantastic move for the Lakers. This is essentially a replacement for a Rondo, who it doesn't seem like they can or want to afford to keep. Anthony Davis is obviously opting out so that he can go max. I mean, I think it's been reported for a long time that this opt-out means it doesn't raise him potentially leaving the Lakers by even 1%. I think he for sure remains with the Lakers, and they pay him, and they've got to work their cap situation around that. But I think in terms of a creating guard, a guy who can get his own shot, a guy who has hit some big shots and played well and been, a real pseudo star on a couple of teams now, I think this is a major upgrade for them in their starting backcourt. They would lose Danny Green, who is obviously a much better defender, but has been terrible offensively.
Yeah.
Especially in the clutch, especially in the playoffs. I mean, Danny Green's a better defender, no doubt about that. But I don't think that's your big fear. Oh, no, we don't want an official, legit starting point guard because we're worried about losing Danny Green's defense. Not to mention they didn't have Avery Bradley, who opted out of the bubble. So he comes back. I
think he's a free
defender.
I think they're going to lose Bradley as well, probably.
They're going to lose Bradley and Rondo.
Yeah.
Got it.
And Green. So Schroeder.
And he's got the I see dead people blonde patch.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's a fantastic move for the Lakers.
You think there's no chance that you're putting 0% chance Anthony Davis would leave on that opt-out?
I'm basically putting it at the exact same percentage. It just doesn't, him opting out doesn't increase the fear that he was leaving, okay, he opts in for the 1 year, then he's a free agent next year. I think he knows that this is his team as LeBron winds down, he winds up. They seem to be building it in the right way. I don't think at all. I mean, wasn't this report 3 months old that he was going to opt out and try to get the max deal? What would be really impressive. And I don't think he should do this or demand that he do this or think he's any better of a person if he does this. But like, if he takes the LeBron, Wade, Bosch deal in Miami and he takes some sort of lower rate so that they can add more pieces, I mean, that's just that would be amazing. But I just think he just maxes out the Lakers and this becomes Anthony Davis's team at one point.
You know, the draft is Wednesday.
I know.
Like, I don't even like the college season was so long ago.
Yeah. And we didn't get the March Madness, which to me is like where I think a lot of NBA fans.
You see the Steph Currys, the Ja Morants.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to see them shine.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's gonna be a wild draft.
I mean, they got the ball kid up there. I don't want to touch a ball.
What was that? You don't want to touch any of the balls?
Not touching any balls.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we all know I like to speak too soon.
Right. I know the Ruther curse. LaMelo Ball is now the next.
I'm just saying though, Lonzo Ball's a bust right now. He's a bust.
I don't know that he's a bust, but that certainly has not lived up to.
Bro,
it's really the Ball hype, the Ball family hype, more than it is like I don't think anybody was like jizzing over Lonzo Ball.
He was the number 2 pick.
I know, but like, I don't know if I'd say he's a bust right now. But he's a bust because of the hype that his dad brings and everything. What's that?
He's going to average 20, 10, and 5 next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
That same Andy Ruther juju that I put on Brandon Ingram.
I know. I was going to say him and Brandon Ingram are co-league MVPs.
Yeah. So I read this report that the Warriors are going to try to have fans next year at 50%. They're going to do some, again, it has to all be approved, but I'm very surprised, especially coming from, California, which is not having any fans anytime soon.
Yeah. And Gavin Newsom's going to have them all over for dinner after every game.
Shots fired. Is that what he did? I didn't really pay too much attention.
He went out to like a dinner event.
Can't trust these guys, can you, Joe?
No. But I think the thing with the NBA is the NBA is supposed to start in December. Indoors with there are certainly teams in football that are doing outdoor fans low.
They're also not close to 50%.
Right. I trust me. I mean, I think like projecting that far out of where we're going to be is kind of reckless to say that you're going to try to do that. We've seen how this shifts and changes so quickly from week to week. So I think any statement now is like, okay, let's see where we're at let's see where we're at in the end of December.
By the way, speaking of games and fans, college football is the most, it's the biggest dumpster fire, and it's funny, and I'm enjoying watching it. I'll just be sure. I'm enjoying watching it fail.
Yeah.
Because they shouldn't be playing. If you knew this many games would be canceled, what are you doing?
Right.
I mean, I tweeted that thing out on Dirty Sports. Like,
they're just getting their TV money. That's all they care about. It's all they care about. It's all they need. This is the biggest money-making thing for a lot of these schools. We've seen it for years. I've said it for years. It's like this solidifies my point. College athletics, major college athletics from basketball, football, it's all a fucking sham. It's all a money grab. They don't care about these kids at all. They don't. It's well, not
Joe,
about.
I'm going to take it one step further. College in general is a sham. I'm going to go on record saying it. It is. It's a sham. These overinflated tuitions, which you're not getting your ROI. You're not getting your return.
College should be free.
You're not getting a return on investment.
Yeah.
And the numbers don't lie. They just don't lie about the return on investment for a college degree. I read a great article courtesy of, you heard it, the Wall Street Journal, of course, but it was talking about that. Like, do you realize like our generation or people that are basically like 25 to 40 now, that might be multiple generations, you're not going to make more than your parents because you're graduating with all this debt. And the reason I'm bringing all this up, because it ties into the college athletics, because it's all encompassed because they need that money. So it does matter. So my point is this, it's all a sham. And we've said it before, the numbers don't lie. If you go get a trade or a skill or become an electrician or a plumber or whatever, a firefighter, like I want the whole thing to blow up. And I think it is. I think we're headed there because it is. It's a sham. It's a joke. Like you go to like places we went. I look at St. Louis University. You want 40 grand?
Right.
You want 40 grand for a year? Fuck you. Fuck you. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's one of those systems that's kind of like, it's gone out of control, and it's this competitive thing where one school tries to make itself seem more, like I what's the word I'm looking for? But like more important, more like whatever, like more, competitive, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just an arms race. People just keep raising their tuition prices because they don't want to be like the budget school of the thing. And
but the numbers, the admissions are declining.
Dude, you don't have to tell me. I'm well aware.
Like serious question, Joe.
I tried not to go to college. My parents were like, I was like, hey, I know exactly what I want to do. Why don't I go into learning on the job training?
Let's say you have a kid, right?
Yeah.
18 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
What are you saying to that child? Or are you saying, hey, man, it's better to do 2 years at the local community college than go?
Dude, I think that I mean, we're talking about the NBA, not like, I'm like, okay, let's see where we're at in a month. 18 years from now? I don't know. Be in the, like, get on the job training in a, pandemic vaccine lab. And I don't know.
But that's my,
but the thing is, if when it comes back to it, like you said, in terms of like a job training situation, if you know what you want to do, go do that. I think college for a lot of people is not knowing what they want to do, becoming, learning how to be social, learning whatever. But like, if you want to be a filmmaker, don't spend 40 grand, make a film. If you want to be an artist, don't take art classes, buy a bunch of paint, like all that stuff. I've always been, a proponent of that. But there's also people who don't know what they want to do. They go to college, they figure it out. They learn how to like live on their own. I almost think it's like adult training more than it's like educational.
Look, I don't disagree there. And I think those are all great points.
But it's not worth $40,000 a year to learn to do your own laundry.
And that's my point. Like, I was one of those people. I didn't really know what I want to do.
Yeah, you're shitting in dryers. Like,
I got my degree.
The idea that your dad paid for that.
Oh, man. It was a washing machine for the record.
Sorry.
And I only shot, I think, once or twice in a washing machine.
But, we go back to the original thing that started this, is just like the sham of college football and like fans, no fans. It's all about them getting that TV money. It's all absurd.
Like, I was at my little brother's Saturday night, and he went to Ohio State Dental School. So obviously he roots for Ohio State, and he put the Michigan game on. They're getting waxed. I just said,
dough on that.
Yeah, I just said, why? I told him, I said, why? I don't want to watch this. I go, put on Netflix.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't? I was like, I don't care, dude. Michigan's down 21 points already. I was like, I don't care. There's no fans. It's not the big house. I've been to the big house. It's amazing. The whole point is fans.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
And we certainly don't want them there. I mean, that's a whole other thing. It's like, why at this point?
You do have to laugh. I mean, you shouldn't laugh, but the SEC is the conference who was like, we're going to play. And it's like, you're the one who's canceling the most games.
Yeah.
Straight debacle. Do you want to hear some calls today?
Sure. And since we just did like a kind of COVID talk, like, we're not going to talk about it, but we're not going to talk about it. I'm not saying this happened, but I'm not saying it didn't happen. Did Justin Turner attempt to murder Tommy Lasorda? Anyway, moving on. Joe Schiavelli. That's why you don't let guys with COVID run rampant. Rip Tommy Lasorda.
Oh, I knew you were going to find a way to put that in there.
It's fine. Everybody in the Dodgers dugout's 25-year-old athlete. What could go wrong? They all knew what they were getting into.
Yeah, but Joe,
literally the face of the Dodgers franchise.
Now you're going to face. He's 93. He would have died anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's what I was seeing in the comments on Twitter.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Nothing to see here. It's a long time Tommy Lasorda heart condition that just happened to flare up two weeks to the day after participating in the Dodgers World Series celebration. And he had to be on a ventilator.
I will say this about the Dodgers and Lasorda, and this actually has nothing to do with COVID-19. You guys have been whoring this old man out. And I've met him, the famous picture where he's so angry and definitely not happy to take a picture with me. I've been around Lasorda multiple times in the last few years. He's 93. I talked about that game I went to 3 rows and back of home plate a couple years ago, middle of June. It's 100 degrees. Lasorda was sitting in front of me, and I kept thinking, what is a 90-year-old man doing at Dodgers? Let the man live in peace. I don't even care if he says, I want to go to the game. 90-year-olds should not be attending hot 100-degree baseball games in the middle of the summer in Los Angeles. Jesus Christ.
Especially not when their veins are filled with marinara sauce.
Yeah. Can we put somebody else out there? You got plenty of great.
They're like, can we put Scully out there? It's like, stop. Why are you trying to kill the elderly faces of the Dodgers?
I mean, the Dodgers.
But Justin Turner got a picture with the trophy. So, if it costs the Dodgers Tommy Lasorda, well, I think Schiavelli's prepared to make that trade.
In the words of the great Ivan Drago, if he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, I got a couple calls. You want to hear them?
Sure.
Let's see what we got here.
By the way, stick around post calls. I've got a hot TV take for you guys.
Okay, cool. Did I not do this right today? Oh boy, I thought I set this up. Let me check the old.
It says Andy Ruther is sharing computer sound. So just maybe make sure your volume's on.
Yeah, let me turn it up. It's on. No, that's a tease. Let me try this again. Let me stop sharing and then we'll try it again. Here we go.
Hey guys, Ryan Clack calling in from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I have a dirty sports conspiracy theory. As we all know, unfortunately, all the old episodes of Dirty Sports are gone, which is obviously really too bad because there was a lot of great moments in there. But among those moments was Joe Praino, the great Ryan Fitzpatrick defender himself, called Ryan Fitzpatrick a dog shit quarterback. I had heard it a few years ago when I was re-listening to old episodes, and it was around the time that the Jets had signed him, and there was a discussion about it, and I don't know why I didn't mark it down at the time, but for whatever reason I didn't, and now it's gone forever. So I think that Joe realized this fact and went back and destroyed all the old episodes to hide the evidence. And you might think, well, why didn't he just delete that one episode? And I don't know, maybe it would look too suspicious, or maybe he didn't want to go through all the trouble of finding the exact episode that it happened in. Just said, fuck it, bye forever to like 300 episodes. But yeah, that's my theory. Joe Praino destroyed all the old Dirty Sports episodes. He called Ryan Fitzpatrick dog shit. Stay dirty, boys.
So, well, you and I both know that's not why we got rid of 300 episodes. But this is
first
actually.
of all, we didn't get rid of anything.
Yeah, they're just private for now.
They're just private for now.
They'll be sold in glossy box sets, like old issues of collector's edition issues of Sports Illustrated.
And I want to say this: Spotify and Apple podcast. I don't think they call it iTunes anymore, right? Guys, they only go back, correct me if I'm wrong, 250 episodes anyway.
Yeah.
So the two major sources of listeners are Spotify and Apple. Those don't even go back 300 episodes. All it was is SoundCloud privatized a bunch of our first 300 episodes.
Right. Now,
but did you, Joe Praino, did you destroy evidence in the most Canadian ever call I've ever heard? That accent is amazing. But
this is, and I hate to, ruin this guy's fantastic theory. By the way, I love all theory, even if it's a anti-Joe Praino theory, even if it's trying to catch it. I love all. I'm a conspiracy theory nut, so I'm down for all conspiracies theories to be thrown out. Unfortunately, this is a conspiracy theory that has been brought up multiple times. I don't know if we've talked about it on this show, but multiple people on social media have referenced this thing, and I'm glad that he was specific about it, because look, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm not Dan Orlovsky. I wasn't going through Ryan Fitzpatrick's career and watching all 22s and breaking down his footwork. Just like my opinion on many athletes, it changed. But the big change for me on Ryan Fitzpatrick was the 10-6 Jets season. Everybody was critical of Ryan Fitzpatrick's Week 17 game that doesn't get him in the playoffs. And what I have said about Ryan Fitzpatrick, look, everybody looks dog shit playing for the old Bills and the old Bengals and the whatever. And in retrospect, you go back and you go, was Ryan Fitzpatrick dog shit, or was he just playing on dog shit teams? Because I have said before, and I'll say again, the New York Jets are as dumpster fiery franchises go, up there with the Bills and the Bengals and the Lions or whatever. I mean, the Jets' history is as bad, if not worse, than a lot of them. He was 10-6 with the Jets. He played really well. Statistically, he played well. Team wins wise, he played well. He had the Jets on the brink of a playoff berth to the fucking New York Jets. And that was, to me, the turning point in going you know what? Ryan Fitzpatrick played well this year. And since then, Ryan Fitzpatrick has played well in a lot of places. And that was, to me, kind of the eye-opening moment where it was Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't as bad as Ryan Fitzpatrick's kind of career wins and losses prior to this show him to be.
So you didn't destroy 300.
I mean, two separate things. I did destroy them, but not because of my Ryan Fitzpatrick take.
Gotcha. Well, I think
I wasn't getting canceled because I said Ryan Fitzpatrick is dog shit.
I think this is a great segue, because the call I was trying to play, and we'll try it again, is our boy Kyle Aronofsky, who you have a Ryan Fitzpatrick bet, basically based bet.
Right. And again, I'm right, big Jets fan, hated Fitzpatrick on the Jets, and how's that worked so far? Don't forget the Sarah Tiana episode, which sprung the great Ryan Fitzpatrick debate, was also in the aftermath of the Ryan Fitzpatrick Jet season, which again, I think that was really, whether it be Todd Bowles, having a good defense, the point in his career, that was, to me, the turning point on Ryan Fitzpatrick, because it's tough to do it. It's tough to do it in New York. It's tough to do it with all the press. It's tough to do it with a new coach. It's tough to do it with a bad franchise. 10-6 and a statistically very, very good season. That was, to me, where it was okay, Ryan Fitzpatrick is better than I thought he was. And honestly, before that, I thought he was dog shit. So it's fine.
Well, let's see if Kyle's call worked this time.
What's going on, boys? Kyle Aronofsky calling back once again from beautiful Toms River, New Jersey, home of the 1998 Little League World Series champions. I'm on a new journey as a person. I'm on this journey to try every pork roll, egg, and cheese sandwich in the Garden State. For Andy, who probably doesn't know, pork roll is a processed, meat like that you throw on a sandwich instead of bacon or sausage or whatever. It's really only available in New Jersey, Delaware, a little bit Pennsylvania, and New York. Fucking phenomenal food. Also known as Taylor ham in North Jersey parts. So I've eaten 5 days in a row for breakfast. I'm trying every place in town, and then I'm going from there. Going to head out to Point Pleasant and maybe Red Bank this weekend to try some spots. So I want to know, what is the one food that you could eat every day? And I'm not saying like, oh, pizza, just get different pizza. I'm saying like one thing. So I'm eating fucking pork roll with a fried egg and American cheese on a Kaiser roll every day for the rest of my life, I think. I think I'm doing this every day forever. I don't know. I might need to start a GoFundMe or something, but I haven't thought that out yet. So yeah, let me know. Condoms are for Joe's Bagel and Grill on Fisher Boulevard in Toms River. I wish the shitty Burger King was back there instead of that fucking place. At least then you can buy a dime bag in the bathroom.
The one thing Kyle forgot, and he messaged me, and I do follow it, and I actually think it is pretty good so far, is he forgot his Instagram handle, which is for this journey, which is, I believe, pork roll ID. Is that right, Kyle? Correct. I'll find it. But
so what's his goal here? To die of a heart attack? Like,
yeah, his goal here is to try all the pork roll, egg and cheeses in New Jersey. The pork rolly ID, or the pork roll yid, maybe. The pork roll yid is Kyle's Instagram. He's, doing reviews of pork roll, egg and cheese. I've never had pork roll or AKA Taylor ham. Fun fact, I learned this a couple years ago. They had to stop like legally calling it Taylor ham because the FDA said it didn't like meet the bar of being called ham. I think it's like the ham. It's like a hamish version of bologna. I've never had it. My issue is, and it kind of looks like Canadian bacon, which I also don't really enjoy. I'm a ham guy. Like, I like a ham, egg, and cheese. I love a nice ham, egg, and cheese sandwich, or bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. And honestly, that would be one of the things I would say I could eat every day. There was a good long while when I was living in Brooklyn where I had a ham, egg, and cheese or a bacon, egg, and cheese just about every morning on my way to work.
I mean, a food every day, that's tough. Like,
I could eat sushi every day too, because it's like not that, like, I could have a sushi roll every day.
Like, I love burritos. Could I have one every day? I don't know.
I could have a donut every day.
Yeah. I could have the fuckboy scramble every day.
I think everybody was kind of expecting you to answer. I mean, again, something you basically do eat every day. Which
is true. Yeah. And you can put variations in that as well. I mean, this tailor-made thing. What are we talking about here?
The Taylor ham?
Taylor ham. The fact that the FDA was like, yo, man, this ain't even ham.
It's processed. It's a processed like ham product. It's like, I think it's like the ham of bolognas, the bologna of hams.
I'm sure it tastes great at Subway.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
But also anything that's only available in like the weird Midwest states of like New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania, like, I don't think this is a healthy thing for you. Like,
Mid-Atlantic, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably worse than if Kyle had like bacon, egg, and cheese every day.
Yeah. Kyle, good luck to you, but I
which also is another thing I could definitely have every day. I wouldn't eat it every day because it's definitely a hard time. What I call my hangover sandwich, a toasted bagel slathered in butter with just bacon on it.
So I think I'm going to try to eat less meat, actually.
Okay. This is exactly where we saw modern Andy Ruther going.
For real. Red meat, I should say.
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of fish lately.
I'm not a big fish guy. I mean, I like sushi, and I like tuna, like swordfish, but like I can't eat. Like, it's like, hey, we're just gonna have like a cooked cod for dinner. Like,
I've been doing salmon salads.
Yeah, and I don't like salmon either. Something about salmon freaks me out.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. And then I'm gonna start with a no meat Monday.
No meat Monday. Okay.
We'll say no meat on Mondays, and then we'll see. Because I
no
don't know.
nut November, no meat Monday.
No, there's no nut November. I don't support that at all. Joe, we have one more call. This is going to be funny for you, I think.
Okay.
This person has called before. They have an interesting voice.
Yeah. This is Tony. 2001 Pacific Northwest Hacky Sack champ. Yep. What's up, boys? Just calling to see what your Super Bowl picks are. Halfway through the season. Yep. I'm going with Hawks and Steelers. 2006 rematch. Yep. And I think Hawks get revenge. Yep. Oh, yep. And yep. Condoms are for Joe Praino. Go Hawks.
You want to hear the best part?
Yeah.
He left this call definitely before Seattle lost yesterday.
Okay. I wasn't, I was worried about making fun of somebody that potentially had some sort of disability or, medical issue that required them to speak through, whatever one of those things are. Then he said condoms are for Joe Praino, and fuck you. Yeah, weird fucking voice machine having fucking Seahawks fan.
Well,
I actually got to say, I hate his Super Bowl pick. I know that the Steelers are undefeated. I still don't like the Steelers. I just think I like in a game tomorrow, in a playoff game tomorrow in Pittsburgh, on Mars, on the moon, in Savage Town, I'm taking the Chiefs every day.
yeah.
And the Seahawks defense just isn't there. So I hate his Super Bowl pick. Obviously, my pick from the AFC is the Chiefs. The NFC is up in the air. I picked the Saints to start the season. I guess right now in the NFC, I still think the NFC is just like a total wild card. It's going to be whoever's hot. Right now, I'd go the Packers.
Yeah.
Which would be what? A Super Bowl II rematch?
I mean, I for sure am going Chiefs. NFC, like you said, it's totally up in the air.
I think that like the whoever's hot in the NFC is whatever. But like who do you give the best chance of beating the Chiefs? The Steelers?
Yeah, right now.
Okay.
But I don't trust anybody against the Chiefs.
NFC, if you had to pick a team, gun to your head. Falling on your Bucks still?
No, I've told you I like the Packers a lot. Saints, we need a healthy Breeze.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay.
I think the NFC, who's hot, where the games are played, what the matchups are, who, whatever, I like the Packers against a lot of teams. I don't like the Packers against all the teams. I think the Bucks with Brady could be tough, but at the same time, if you're pressuring Brady, they might not be tough at all.
Yeah, I agree. Well, guys, drop us a call, even if you need a voice box to make that call. 310-359-8365 is the hotline. You said you had something to talk about, Joe?
I have a TV hot take.
Okay.
I've been watching TV. I'm going to say it. Hopefully they were never planning on casting me in the show, but I'm going to say it. I watch every single episode. I think The Mandalorian sucks.
I knew you were going there.
It watches like a video game. It's like there's this end game, but every episode is this weird like side like plot, like every episode he has to like do this side mission. I feel like it's like watching somebody play like Call of Duty. It's like in the end you have to do this, but first your mission is this.
So I'm through the first 2 episodes of this season, so I haven't watched the latest.
And I like, one thing I like about it is like, I like that they get these guys, like, you know, I like that they get names to like guest star. I mean, Timothy Oliphant was great. But like, I just don't like the plot line is always like I hate that it doesn't progress like a thing.
No,
Every
I
episode
feel
is
you.
like, stop. I know that we're doing something, but before you can do that, you got to kill this. Before that you do that, you have to help this person get here. Every episode. It reminds me so much of The Walking Dead, where it's like, we're looking for a civilization, but every episode we need groceries.
Well, I'm struggling as well. The last 2 episodes, I find myself kind of ending the episode and just sitting there thinking, you know, what did I just watch? Like the one,
like Baby Yoda is great, but like,
but the one with like the spiders and in the cold land, I was like,
yeah,
what? Where are we going with this right now?
Yeah, it's a side mission. It's like in this portion of the video game, you're in cold land and you have to fight spiders. And the next episode, you're in hot land and you have to fight the big fucking worm. I just think like, and look, in a way, this is every Star Wars ever, you know? It's like, how many Star Wars do we have where like blowing up some sort of, you know, base is like the plot of the fucking thing? But the thing is, in the movies, at least that's like the thing, like there's a whole lot that goes on. There's 10 different stories. And one of them is this thing, you know, and they all come together on this. But like for The Mandalorian, just every episode is like, hey, I'm still trying to just get Baby Yoda to this thing. It's like, but first, you have to help Kyle Aronofsky find the best pork roll in New Jersey.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I would not, I really wouldn't debate your points there.
I've seen a lot of like Mandalorian hype, and I'm kind of like,
well,
meanwhile, I'm watching The Queen's Gambit, and I think it's great.
I think anything with Star Wars, as a guy who's always been a big Star Wars guy, I think we hold on to that it's Star Wars and we hold on to the past. And like I said, I'm struggling too. I'm not going to say it sucks, but maybe that's because I'm being biased because I was always such a big Star Wars guy.
I think it's like almost catered to like the young millennial video game crowd, because that's just how it feels to me, and I'm falling off quick. But like Baby Yoda's adorable. Like I'll watch him do his taxes, you know?
Yeah. I know. I feel you. Guys, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. Drop an iTunes review, and I will get koozies out to you if you leave your Twitter or Instagram handle in that review. You can follow me at Andy Ruther on Twitter or Instagram.
At Joe Praino on Instagram. At Fix Your Life on Twitter. Rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. My album is available on all the music streaming services. The video of it's available on Amazon Prime. What else? I think that's it.
That's it. All right, guys. That's the show for this Monday, November 16th, 2020. Guys, have a great week. We'll be back on Thursday. And as always, stay dirty.